Hello, everybody. How are we doing? Laura, Margarine, Kaden. I'm gonna make you guys a co-host. So if as people come in, if you want to just hit the accept button or add whatever the ah, boom. Okay, sick. Hey, Kaden, let's see if we can talk after this call. We got a few. We can chat about it and see the deal.
Yeah, yeah, I got some time.
Okay, awesome. Oh, one with the script for today. Hey, Jeff, how's it going, man? Okay. I'm putting in the chat a copy of the link of the Google Docs of the script for the cold calls, I should say.
Thanks, Jared.
And yeah, absolutely. So, quick question as we get going, and people are gonna always pop in late, and that's okay. What have you guys reached out to your battle squad yet? I think Marjorie, you talked to Lily already, which is helpful, right? So
Yeah, so Lily is not able to as much.
mhm, right,
I just totally got a brain freeze. I know her name.
yeah, and
We've
and
been
that's gonna
actually texting all day.
and that's the thing where sometimes people have a ton of time to do these type of things, and other people's don't. But other people's
Yeah,
don't.
Katrina and I have been contacting each other pretty much daily. And
Nice,
then the other one is Richard Scott.
Richard
Scott,
Stock. Yeah,
Stock, yes, that's right. I knew it started with an S. I'm like, wait a sec.
he's the man. So yeah, absolutely. You know who Richard is, right?
I kind of do. I know he's
Okay.
very well known.
Yeah, yeah. He's like one of the I don't know if founding's the right word, but one of the first people that were in Renatus. That
Definitely one of the OGs.
the OGs. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's awesome. And the thing is, like, he's teaching ATM right now, which is helping people to learn how to sell the education. And all of the stuff that he teaches is applicable to real estate. So yeah, he's a really good person to have as a in your battle squad.
Awesome.
That's for sure.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Bob's the one who brought him in, right?
Who was?
Bob, right?
Yes, yes. Bob brought him in. He was in New Variche, and then Bob called him up when he started Renatus, and he was like one of the first ICMs, like in company. I think he put under someone else like Jeff, somebody. I can't remember whose name. Hang on a second. My dog's before we get started. I gotta shut him up. Hang on a second. Okay. The garbage came by, and my labradoodle can't be quiet. He wants to make sure that that garbage man knows that he exists. This is his property. So yeah. Yeah. So Richard Stock, he's a stud. I learned a lot about. Well, I mean, he taught me a lot. That's a better way to put it. So he's a great resource to have, and just for everyone in general. I mean, he's a good guy. I've known him for years, so definitely OG, as Caden put it. Okay, so normally, like on Wednesdays, the first week was kind of like more like mostly just orientation, getting people, the basics understanding. So Wednesdays are going to be normally just reaching out and start making phone calls. We're going to hold each other accountable, cameras on. This time, I get like so my thoughts are, instead of like role playing, it's better to actually practice on a real person and make mistakes. You'll learn 10 times more than any type of role play you'll ever do. With that being said, I get that it's really hard for a lot of people, and it's hard for myself as well. So I'm not, I'm not unsympathetic, especially when it's brand new. You're the fear of rejection. If you haven't gone through the whole process of creating your avatar, which everyone should. By the way, who has created their avatar, their ideal seller avatar? Who has?
I did.
Okay. 1 out of 9 is not bad, I guess. No, that's terrible. I'm just kidding. That is bad. Well, I guess kind of myself, so 2 out of 9, sure. So Jeff did. Frank, have you guys had a chance to? No, rephrase. You had a chance, but are we just? And you put in the if you can't talk, you put in the comments if you can. If you have your avatar created, maybe it's not printed, but maybe it's like written down somewhere, like on a document you may have.
Yeah, I got mine written down, just not created.
Okay.
Like visualized.
So let's do that, guys. This is gonna help you guys take action. Like I promise. It's gonna help alleviate a lot of the fears. So if you haven't done the creating your avatar, I would suggest to put yourself on mute, turn your camera, and start creating it right now. And if you're not sure what that is, we've done plenty. I think most people understand. If you have questions, feel free to ask. But you're creating your ideal client, your ideal seller, and what they like, their age, their name, their situation, like they just want to, like if they have kids or not, as detailed as humanly possible. This is going to be your avatar, and because there is someone out there like hoping and praying that you guys are going to give them a call, or that, and even if it's not cold calling is your main method of reaching out to sellers, there's someone out there that needs your help, whether you end up talking to them or not. Maybe it's through an agent, through whatever it is. There's someone out there that needs your help. So you need to create the avatar. It's going to help get through a lot of the fears, believe it or not. If you put like some emotional backing, which I'm not going to go into deep anyways, but yeah, you guys really need to make this. This is part of the games. You guys need to do it. This is only going to help you. So if you haven't done it, do it now. Just message me, say, yeah, I'm gonna build my avatar right now. Like during this call, right now.
Can I chime in again?
Yes, please, Jeff. Go ahead, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
So,
and feel free to chime as much as you need. You always give good stuff. So,
well, at first I was skeptical. I'm like, you've mentioned using an avatar before, and I just like, what the heck are you talking about?
yeah.
But I actually did it, and I've noticed two things on the front end and the back end of motivation. So let me explain. Like, yeah, I want to talk to that person. Like, great, this may be that person. I want to make that phone call. But on the back end, it's like, okay, if I get a rejection, I don't take it as personally. I'm just like, oh, that wasn't the person I was looking for. So it helps with get over the discouragement of rejection.
Right. Yeah, and that's nail in the head. That's exactly the goal. The goal is to get us motivated to take action and to handle rejection a lot better. Like it's not even a rejection. It's just like, great, that's out of the way. I'm closer to talking to Maria, which if you guys couldn't guess, my avatar is Maria. You know, I'm that much closer to talking to Maria. You know, it's just it sounds funny maybe in certain aspects of it, but it really is powerful. Super powerful to actually do it. So thanks Marta, she's working on hers. Good. And again, not to shame or put people on the spot, whatever, if you haven't done it, but you know, I mean, if you have, you would have commented, so that most of you haven't done it. So this is stuff that we need to do, and it's going to be helpful. Okay. Jeff nailed in the head exactly what the whole why is that beneficial or not. Okay. And focus on it. If you need to like mute your computer or phone so you can focus on it, like that's totally fine. This call still gonna be recorded. You watch it later. You know, I mean, not a problem. But that avatar is going to get you to take is more likely to take action than anything I'm going to say right now. Okay, awesome. All right, so here's my thoughts for today. And then next Wednesday we're going to do MMAs. We're actually going to be calling other people, and we're going to be doing it together as a group and whatnot. So today I want to do a little bit of role playing. Those who are not working on the avatar. But first, let's go over the script real quick. And you don't have to use this script, by the way, guys. That's not. It's not a have to. It's there for you if you want it. And this should be a bullet point script, not a word for word script. And there's certain things you need to kind of cover and hit. And there's not a ton on the first call for like cold calling. There's not a ton of stuff you really need to have a successful cold call. Thanks, Laura. Appreciate that. She's working on an avatar. That's phenomenal. Great. You know, we're not going to dwell in the past. We're just going to move forward. You're making an avatar now. It's like, that's where we want to be. Thank you. So the script itself, it should be just bullet points. That's really kind of what we're thinking, or kind of have it so you can have your own voice, so you don't sound robotic. And again, the less robotic, the more airs that you give, the better it's going to be. It truly is. So Estella was making a bunch of calls last night. She called for about an hour, and I was listening to her, and it was there was like so much stuff like, oh man, you shouldn't, that there's so many better ways of doing X, Y, and Z and whatnot. But she got an appointment with the seller. You know, I mean, there was a lot of things that maybe she missed some, and that's okay. But she got the appointment. You know, she went to the dialer, went using Deal Machine as the dialer, and she got that appointment. The point I'm trying to say, not to dogging anybody, but I'm saying you can have tons of mistakes, mess up a ton. As long as you're taking action, you're gonna have that success. And as because at first I hate hearing when salespeople talk like, oh, it's a numbers game. It's not really a numbers game. It kind of is at the very beginning, because you're putting in those reps. You're learning how to do it better and better, and then it turns into a skill game, not a numbers game. So at the very first, it is a numbers game, but after that, it's just all skill set. And then you're more consistent as far as what how many calls you have to make to land an appointment. You're consistent on like how to close them and so on. So yeah, and you're gonna get really good at the first phase, because first it's the contact to lead, and you're gonna do that more than anything else. So you're gonna get really good at that. But then you're setting appointments, so you're getting good at setting appointments, but because you haven't done enough appointments, that you're not going to be very good at that. But because you're good at setting the appointments, you're going to get more and more of the appointments, and then you're going to be really good at setting the appointments, or excuse me, really good at in the appointments and getting things under contract. And then as that kind of progresses, you're getting more and more under contract. You're getting really good as far as like finding the right buyers, how to present the offer, making sure that it actually is a really good deal, all that stuff. So the progression is kind of slow at first, but once things happen, it becomes like a hockey puck, and this is why. So when I say hockey puck, you know, like in the amount of time versus success, like closed deals, money made. It's like a not hockey puck, hockey stick. Sorry, you don't need to know words to make money, guys. So you're good. It's a hockey stick. So me, because it's going across this way and then it pops up here, and hopefully you guys can get what I'm trying to put down, right? So let's hear it. I'll do a visual, and you guys probably get it, but just for my own silliness, right? So we have the success, right? So money's dollar bills made. Let's put that there, and then time. So when you first start, you're like 0, okay, and it's not really gonna go up very fast at first. It like very slightly. So, and this is what I'm talking about. This is like you're gonna get really good at calling leads, setting appointments. So you're setting, and this is throughout this whole time. But setting appointments isn't actually making you money, technically. It's when it actually closes and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So you're setting appointments, and then you get really then you're going to appointments and you're not, maybe you're bringing people along with you, so that's going to help you and start making some money. But then this is your business, so eventually you're gonna go by yourself, or with your business partners or whatever. And so once you get that kind of going, then you're getting really, really good at that. So this is the whole process of this. And because all of this is kind of snowballing, you're getting better, better at setting appointments, better and better at hitting the appointments and getting things under contract. That all of this systems, it's going to seem like that this success came out of nowhere. But in reality, because it's going to go like this, and then suddenly it's going to be bam. What the heck? It's like drawing the lines for me. So it's like a hockey puck, right? So the line goes across and goes straight up. And people will see this part of your progress and like, oh, it's an overnight success. Oh, she just closed 3 deals this month. Oh, she's just over. She's got really lucky. She's just, you know, um, Marjorie's just amazing. She's really personable. Of course, she's just got lucky. She's just gifted. Whatever excuse people say, right? But they don't see all of this stuff here of the rejection, of the time spent, of appointment set and things under contract, nothing actually happening. They don't see that part. So it's the same explanation, but the iceberg, how people only see the tip of the iceberg and the majority of it's underneath water, and so they don't see like the hard work kind of gets to it. That's what all this is. So with that being said, I know I kind of went in a tangent there, but that's okay. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go over the script real fast, and then we are going to we're going to split into rooms, and we're going to do some role playing. Okay. There's a lot of techniques we can add in there, but I don't necessarily want to throw that in there here. You can be as simple as this. We can do stammering old man if you want. You can really throw it in there. That's no problem. You can definitely do something like that. But you don't have to do that right now. Like the point is to get kind of comfortable saying it, just going through the motions. So the goal here is to see if they want to sell the property and set an appointment. The number one goal is set an appointment. That's it. Over the phone, belly to belly, whatever wherever you're at as far as location goes and time and whatnot. So you're setting an appointment. That's it. Finding out anything else after that fact is just gravy. So all we're worried about the very beginning is just set the appointment. Have you ever thought about selling? You have? Oh, really? Why is that? Okay, great. I'd love to come by and have a chat. Me and my partner, if you bring someone else, me and my partner to come by. Can we, what about tomorrow at 5 p.m.? Would that be crazy if we came by then? Then after the appointment is set, oh yeah, sure, that'll work. Great, awesome. Is this a good phone number? You're just verifying all the information. The address is good, so on and so forth. And then you can say, like, so what's tell me about the condition of the property. I mean, and then you can drill in a little more information if you want. I mean, it doesn't hurt to give a better idea kind of what their situation is before you head into it. But then between the end of the call and that appointment, that's when you do your analysis. That's when you find out what the offer actually is. and we'll go into there's more stuff in that too. Okay, so a simple like hello, Bob, seller's name, Maria, whoever. This is Jared. I was calling about address 123 Fake Street. My wife and I, my partner and I, my family and I, whatever, are looking to buy a property in your neighborhood. Have you ever thought about selling? And whatever they say, no, I haven't thought about selling. Oh, really? Why not? Or actually, I have been thinking about selling. Oh, really? Tell me more about that. Why would you want to sell that? That seems like a great house. So we get a little understanding why they want to sell, why they don't want to sell. Because sometimes when you find out the no's, then that's where that's the cool stuff happens, right? You can kind of figure out what there really is a problem because they'll usually open up a little more. Um, would you propose to my partner and I gave you a fair market offer? Would tomorrow at 5 work or 8 p.m. be better? So binary close. Uh, if you are anything like me, I always got to have my wife slash life partner, whoever you have, involved. Who else would be involved in making the final decision? So this is when you're setting the appointment, you just want to make sure all the decision makers are there. So if it's like a spouse, the wife is there and she has her husband, or maybe she's living with her brother or other sister, and they both own the house together. Who knows? Whatever their situation is. But we're also giving this to making sure all the decision makers there. We're giving them an out as far as pride goes. And I'm speaking of just being a dude. You know, I always try to whether it's and this is true for both sexes, but I think it may be more so. Anyways, I'm not going to go there. I always want to leave an out for their pride in most scenarios. So if anything that they would be really not stoked to admit to, especially to a stranger that's been off the street or just from a cold call, I would try to leave an out for their pride. So if like, oh well, yeah, well, they may think like, oh, that I'm saying that they need to have their wife's permission to make any decisions. Um, people are funny that way, especially when they're already defensive to begin with. So if they're anything like me, so now it's like it's not you. It's like you're anything like me. If you're anything like me, not saying you are, but if you are anything like me, I would have to have my wife involved in making a decision like this. Um, who else would be involved in making the final decision on this property? Does that make sense, guys? And then repeat it, rephrase. Great. Can we make sure that they're there too? Whether it's on the phone call and maybe they can't be there physically, but like, great. Can we call them and while after I look through the property and I give an offer, can we call them and put them on speaker? Can they get in a spot where that can work? Make sense? Maybe it's their lunch or whatever. Maybe they're a different state, city, whatever. That all works. Great. We'll see you. Rephrase the date and time. Is this the best number to reach you out? And then you can find out the other stuff that's gravy. So after everything's set, then it's like, so tell me how much do you need money wise to get out of the property? Big difference between need and want. How much do you need? Like I don't need the Camaro to get me to point A to point B, but I want it. I like it, but I don't need it. My old sedan that worked fine. That got me to point A to point B, and that's fine. How soon would you need to close? Give you an idea as far as time frame. How much are you going to offer me? That's an objection people have. That's a great question. In order to give you a fair market offer, my partner and I would have to walk through the property, check the condition. Once we have seen it, we're able to give you a fair offer at the same appointment. And this is where I'm leaving here with something. This is going to be big. If you guys do this, you're going to close more deals. I promise you. I promise you. Even on wrong numbers. I've bought in properties off wrong numbers. And this is true for the end of call. Like, hey, I'm not looking to sell. No worries. Okay. Yeah, sorry to bother you. So for example, wrong number, right? Sorry to bother you. I was calling the seller about XYZ property. I was looking to buy it. Since I have you, do you have any properties you're looking to sell? or you wouldn't have any properties looking to sell, would you? Do you? However you want to phrase it. And then let me ask me one more question. Have you ever thought about getting involved in real estate? We're doing a workshop this Wednesday, maybe Thursday actually. Thursday at Thursday at 7 p.m. Would you be opposed to coming and hanging out with us on Thursday? So again, guys, like we're here, we're trying to make a Thursday has two ways. I'm leaving here with something. Like that's the biggest thing. I'm leaving here with something. So even if they tell me they don't want to sell their property and it's like the person I'm actually trying to reach, cool, awesome. Do you know anyone else looking to sell? Because we do offer anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 referral fee. I mean, you wouldn't mind getting an extra $5,000 in the next week or so, would you? Well, that would be awesome. Oh, great. Well, who comes to mind? Okay. All right. Let's see. I put in the chat as well, guys. So let's.
Yeah, I've got a question for you.
Yes, please. Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
Back up when you ask if they're looking to sell, and they say no, but you still say, oh, really? Why is that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how much time do you spend talking with them about why they're not selling their property until you kind of like leave it at that, and then ask
Sure.
about referrals and whatnot?
Well, if there's a window to, a lot of times after if they're saying no and you say, oh really, well, why is that? Why aren't you guys looking to sell? I'm just curious. Their answer a lot of times is going to be like, because I'm still living it. Oh, you're still living in the property, so you have no intention of selling right away or anytime soon. Then I just go into the kind of the next, as far as if the referrals. You can ask even more information on it, and like if you're calling for at that time, if you want, you can call out like, oh, okay, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, if you're not going to sell, no worries. I was actually calling off of this public record list. It was like just people going through notice of default, but it sounds like you've got that kind of figured out. Is that right? Is that still kind of a looming challenge? And so you can kind of be more upfront and just so not it's not well, if the backdoor approach doesn't work, then you just hit the front door, right? And just say, yeah, I'm calling because of this, right?
Gotcha. Okay, I like that. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I've wondered about how you do the back door versus the front door approaches, so that's
Right.
helpful.
Yeah, and I mean the back doors is like my wife and I are looking to buy a property in the neighborhood. Have you ever thought about selling? So we're not necessarily. I know you're on notice of default if that's the list I'm calling, or I know that you're potentially have a retired landlord. You don't live in this property, and you might have some motivation to sell or whatever. It's just more of I'm just a guy that's looking to buy a property in their neighborhood. Can you help me? That's it. That's you're gonna get through a lot more walls that way than any slick fast talking line that you're gonna hear from the interwebs. Okay. All right. So who is still working on the avatar, which is fine if you are. I love it. But I want to break people up into breakout rooms where it's gonna be 2 or 3 people, and I just want you to practice back and forth role playing. And I understand some of you may be out and about, like in cars and whatnot, or work, so there may be a bit of a challenge. If you cannot do any role playing, or if you're currently working on the avatar, I'd rather you work on your avatar than role play. Maybe get with your accountability team if you really want to role play. But the avatar is going to be helping you 10 times more than this role playing session. I promise you that. Because I can have I can have the script memorized. I can have it all perfectly down. But if I don't have the motivation or I can't get over the fear, then it doesn't help me. I can have the fastest car in the world, but if it sits in the parking lot or sits in my driveway all day long, doesn't mean I'm getting anywhere any faster. Okay, yep. So Laura can't do role play because she's working. That makes sense. Anyone else that can't do the role play right now, or that currently are working on their avatar?
Jared, I'll be able to role play with somebody in a half hour. Otherwise, I'll just do my avatar later.
Got it. Got it. Perfect. Okay, so mostly can't. Okay, no worries. Where do we do the so so Frank asked, where do we do the avatar? So that's gonna be like, it's nothing like you're turning in. I mean, that'd be kind of cool to see if you wanted to share, but it's just gonna be the avatar. Frank is we've done some videos on it in the past, but in a really fast nutshell, it's the person, your ideal seller. That's who you're looking for. And what you want to do is get as much detail as you possibly can. Like, so what kind of scenario are they in? Are they going through foreclosure? Are they, is it a tired landlord that has 12 properties looking to sell and they just want to get rid of them? They rather just sell on seller financing. That could be your avatar. And so you want to be as detailed as humanly possible. Their age, if they have kids, with the kids, if they're working, not working, where do they work? They work at Walmart. They're an accountant, whatever. As detailed as humanly possible, and some sort of emotional pain point where it's going to be more, and some that only you can, like, what's the reason for selling? Maybe that as a tired landlord, they had their parents' home, because that's where a lot of landlords end up, is kind of like, or their old home, like they're kind of skipping, they don't sell the houses, they just buy a new one or whatnot. And this person totally destroyed it. This renter just destroyed their home that had all these memories, and so they're kind of hurting. They just don't want to deal with this anymore. They're sick and tired of just having to spend extra money on the mortgage and all this stuff. Okay. Yes, you're manifesting the right lead. Yes. And then once you create all of the details with as much emotional hook as you possibly can, that's going to make you feel emotionally connected to want to help this person. And that's going to be something that, maybe something you can relate to, or at least that you can kind of sympathize with, whether you've been in that situation or not. But like, someone's about to lose their home, the lights are out, they can't pay the mortgage, their cars got depoed or repoed, got repoed. And so, yeah, it is not a great feeling to be in, and so you want to put it out there as much detail as humanly possible, write it down. And you can digital, but as long as but you do need to print it off. I'd recommend handwritten. Handwritten is probably better. Great. Yep. So work on that, and then once you get all that done, put that into a chat GPT or some sort of image generator, and say, I need a realistic image of this person in this description. Or just kind of do a similar, or if you're not familiar or really comfortable using AI for images or whatnot, you can just go into Google Images and just type in a prescription description of whatever your avatar is, guy in his 60s, blah 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 blah, and then just print off one of those pictures. So you're going to have potentially multiple copies of this with the person's picture, their name, all the information about them. And then you're going to start calling, and then before you make those phone calls, you're managing you're with them. Okay, so if anything, why don't we, the ones that are doing their, that's what I should have done. Now I think about it. So ones that are doing the avatar, we can set you guys in your own breakup room, and everyone else can be in twos and threes. And the ones that can't role play right now, which is okay, we get that. We'll get you into this different breakout rooms. So let me get that set up. Sign manually. Yep. So we have cameras. Kaden, who's okay. So I got Roger's working on hers. Laura's looking for getting hers. Frankie is. Katrina. Bear with me, guys. Almost there. Okay, Marjorie, you want to go? Um, and Frank, that's right. Sign. Sign. Sorry, guys, we're almost there. Okay. Perfect, perfect. And then, yeah. So it should pop in there if you guys go into a room, including like the ones that are working on the avatars. That's fine. You kind of, I hopefully put you in this. Oh, to jumped out. Is Jeff there? If you guys have any troubles in, you all should be able to join the rooms now. It's broadcast. Is that? Joined. Okay, we'll look at move Natalie up here to room 2. Okay, that'll work. All right, guys, if you're there should be some pop-up to send you to your room, the breakout room. Hayden, are you able to get in? Or are you working on your avatar? Most people are in, I think. Okay. All right, everyone should be assigned. Okay. All right, Jenny, we are and Carlos. So we're doing let me put it in a little chat. The script, we're doing some role playing on cold calling. So I'm going to assign you guys to a room, actually. And we're just going to role play the script with each other. Fair enough? And it should just be click and join if you're able to do some. There you are. Perfect. initial. Hey, Laura, how we doing? Let me end everyone's.
I'm doing okay.
Oh, I'm learning how to do the breakout rooms here. Okay, close all rooms. There we are.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay, cool. All right. Okay. All right, everybody. We're all back in. Hopefully. I don't think there's any stragglers out there. Started open.
That was kind of fun.
Yeah. So how did you guys feel about doing the role plays? I know most of you only had about 25 minutes or so, but should have done a couple backs and forths.
I think that'd be a really good thing to do before you, like even doing one or two to kind of get your nerves settled before you actually start making phone calls.
Yeah.
So I'm going to call my battle buddies like, hey, can you like take this edge off and we practice on you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and even do it like you guys, a good resource that most of us have is like your kids, like, hey, let me practice on you. Why not? And let them be little stinkers about, and just being difficult if you really want to, or have them just be really easy. And it's just mostly just like kind of practicing off a wall effectively, right? You can use your kids, your spouse, call a friend like, hey, I'm about to cook a 2-hour call session and I just want to practice a couple times. Can you pretend to be a seller for like 2 times just so I feel better? That's totally fine. Great. My only caution would be that like, oh, I couldn't find someone to role play, so I didn't do the calls, because people will find that excuse. So, which we all know is an excuse. So just be careful we don't allow that to be like, oh, I couldn't find someone, so I didn't make any calls. The best role playing you're ever going to have is actually with the seller. So, is the role playing, like, you guys think it's worth it, or is it better just, in my opinion, is better is to call people and get the practice that way. But what's your guys' thoughts here? Because I wanted to give you guys a chance to have that practice in there before we start calling. What's your guys' thoughts?
I think you learn more when you mess up with sellers. You learn a lot faster.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, let's do some live calls in groups sometime.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
kind of like Jenny said. I think it's good to do. It was good for me to do like a quick practice call with them. I was with Dan and Jenny, just kind of get the bugs out, the fear out, and then one is all you need. You don't need to beat a dead horse, and then just go right into calls.
I like that. Yeah. So I think that's a great way to get the jitters out, because that first phone call is usually always the hardest. So after that, then it's just, you're just gonna wash and repeat and keep on going. So yeah, I can see it, definitely see the value of just getting rid of those jitters the first role playing session, which is cool. Cool. Last thing before we end for today, the your battle squads, everyone's been assigned. At least I hope I didn't miss anybody, which possible I have. If I have, by the way, please tell me, for goodness sake. I did assign everyone a squad name, or team name, squad name, whatever. Battle buddies squad sounds better. You guys can change it. You don't have to. You're not married to that. You can change. So I mean, got just for funsies, because I like being creative and having fun. Like Jeff Wilson, like Jeff and Laura, Bryce, you guys are on the hustle junkies. Then we have the deal sharks, which is Jenny, Rachel, Tim, and Jason. The wholesale hooligans, which is Natalie, Josh Clark, and then Levi. Then we have the follow-up fanatics. That's Anna, Estella, and Melissa. The contract killers. So that's Jesus, Frankie, and Carlos. And then no quit hit squad. We have Malu, Daniel, and then Dakota. The grind set goons. Caden, Courtney, and Linda. The lead assassins. That's Richard Stock, Marjorie, Katrina, Lily. And then finally we have the deal warriors, which is Raina, Peter, Daniel McCullen, and then Jason Hill. So all of those guys are most of those guys are out of state, the deal warrior guys, with the exception of Senor Peter. Okay. But yeah, feel free to change names if you want to. You're not obligated. Like, it was more fun for me. But you guys can change the name to anything you want, or to leave it. It doesn't matter. It's just funsies. Cool. What other questions do we have before we call it quits, as far as like the script? Do we feel more comfortable to make phone calls? And again, I want to point out that Stella She made an appointment and it wasn't smooth. It wasn't, I mean, I'm not trying to dog her by any means, but it wasn't smooth, but she did it. And it doesn't have to be smooth. It doesn't have to, you don't have to have the script memorized, you know? She's did it and took action. And that was the biggest key to that success, to setting up that appointment, you know? So, and I gave her some pointers in the end, like how to be a little bit more successful, right? Because it wasn't perfect, which is, I still don't do calls that are perfect. Okay, cool. Awesome, guys. Well, appreciate you all. Let's reconvene tomorrow. And feel free to put in the community, your chats. If you haven't done your avatar, that's a priority, guys. Get that done today. And let me know. Like, send me a message. Put it in the, you know, put it in a comment or something. Let me know that you guys have done it. I really appreciate that. And if you're willing to share that too, you don't have to, but if you're willing to share it, because it'd be really cool to see it'd be cool for other people to see your avatar, because then they can like, oh, that's a really good idea. I'm gonna add that. I'm gonna copy and paste that section or whatever, like which is totally awesome. You know. Okay. All right, guys. I love you all. Appreciate you. Adios.
Thanks, Jared.